Hey, how's it going? So some interesting news popped up over the last few days dealing with Platinum Games. Now, as you all know, Platinum Games is a company that delivers great games, and they do focus on action games. And we get games like Bayonetta, Astro Chain, Nier Automata, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and they always deliver quality in their games. Every game is great, it's fun. So I always look forward to any games that Platinum Games delivers, especially on the gameplay department. And you know me, I love my character action games. And some interesting stuff popped out over the weekends that I really want to talk about. Some cool news, some iffy news stuff here and there. So Platinum's new CEO wants to create larger, riskier games and hints at live service focus. So right off the bat, it sounds pretty, it raises an eyebrow, all right? As hearing that they want to create new games, right? But the new games are hinting at being, live service. And they do hint that the new project, Kayama's new project, which is called, for now, Project GG, is going to be headed in that direction. So Project GG is still at the stage of testing various things, so I can't tell you much about it. But when it comes to future games production, we want to focus on creating games that are different from the past. I would like to focus on creating games that can be enjoyed and loved for a longer period of time. So for me, live service games are a hit or miss, right? It could go well, or it could not go well. And for me, I guess it depends on what game they're making and how they wanna, proceed with the game. When I think of live service games, I really just think of FPS games, firsthand. Don't really think about it in the action genre. But Platinum Games is working on Babylon's Fall, which is a live service game. And from the looks of it, I'm still iffy on it. I am still going to get it. I still want to play to see how it is. But even still, I'm not sold on that game. I'm not even sure if it's going to do well, but I do want to play and try it out, see if it's good or not. But most likely it might not be. It might be a 50-50. And there are articles out there that completely say that Platinum Games is abandoning their one-off, well-designed, focused games. And of course, they do add that they're not going to abandon that formula. Of course, we would like to cherish and create small but brilliant conceived games such as Soul Cresta, and games in which you can enjoy the process of clearing the game by going through one-off, well-designed stages such as Bayonetta. So they're not completely abandoning that formula of games. But of course, it goes on and saying, however, the project that we are trying to create for the future will be different in terms of their structure, considering the changes in the market over the next 5 years or so. I think it's absolutely necessary for us to do this. I'm sorry for being so vague, but I think that's all I can tell you right now. So they're not going to abandon that formula. If that was the issue, it would really be a problem for Platinum Games, to be honest. Some articles do say that in the interview that they're going to abandon their previous formula. But again, it could be just lost in translation. They do not say instead. They say they will still keep making these type of games, but they do want to go for a more, live service type of games in the future. The one game that's coming up this year is Babylon's Fall, and that does have the MMO style, live service type of game. So we're gonna have to wait and see and try that game out and see how well it does, how well the live service is in that game. However, it is Square Enix, but Platinum Game is developing that game. But if Platinum Games wants to go that route by themselves, we're just going to have to wait and see how it goes, and when we get more information to see what exactly they want to do. Because the information is very vague. So, it could be good, it could be bad, but we'll just have to wait and see. The only good thing about this that I'm really happy is that they're not abandoning their one-off titles, to be honest, which I'm really glad. Because Platinum Games do make good action games that I do like. We're just gonna have to wait and see. So Microsoft has been, kicking ass recently. I believe it was last year that Microsoft bought Bethesda, and now with the recent news, Microsoft bought Blizzard Activision. So they got money. They got money to spend. So hopefully in the future we'll expect some cool exclusives to the Xbox. However, there was an exclusive game that sadly was canceled that was gonna be, for the Xbox exclusively, and that game was Scalebound, and that was being developed by Platinum Games. Sadly, it got canceled, and we all got very, very sad because of it. However, with the recent news that we heard with Platinum Games and some interviews here and there, it might not be dead. So Platinum Games appeals to Xbox to help make Scalebound. Phil, let's do it together. There's been news that Kayama wants to get back into Scalebound and finish the game. Speaking to IGN Japan, Platinum President Atsushi Inaba explained that the Scalebound creator Hideki Kamiya has been talking about wanting to work on Scalebound again for a while. Kamiya himself added, "I'd like to appeal to Phil Spencer directly. Let's do it, Phil. Yes, if we had the opportunity, we'd love to work on that again, but we don't mean it in that way. Both Kamiya and I are serious. We really would love to work on Scalebound again. I'd like to discuss it with Microsoft properly." And the way how Microsoft has been going, especially with the Game Pass that they have and all the companies that they are buying, I don't see why not they won't go back to Scalebound. Because honestly, looking at the console Xbox, the one great thing that Xbox has going for is the Game Pass, for sure, because you get a ton of games for a good price. However, there really isn't that many exclusives for that game, and honestly, what's the real reason for buying an Xbox? It'd be honestly better if you just get a PS5 with the tons of exclusive games that it has, and great games, of course. My add. For me, I think the problem I have with Xbox or Microsoft is that they really don't have any exclusive games that will make me want to, oh, I need an Xbox because I want to play this game. And that's my honest thoughts back in 2017 or back with the Xbox One era. There really isn't no exclusive games, good games for the Xbox. And for the PS4, it had great games here and there. And majority of the people had a PlayStation, PS4. But now with Microsoft buying all these companies, I think it would be a good opportunity for them to, come back with, more exclusive games for them. I actually do really want them to go back and work on Scalebound, especially because it being developed by Platinum Games and Kamiya being the director of Scalebound, and we thought we'll never see it again. But now with this, upcoming news, I say go for it. However, I might add that they just bought the companies, right? We haven't seen anything exclusive to the Xbox yet, at least not that I know of. So I would love to see Scalebound, return once again, to be honest. I mean, of course, this is a pretty alpha gameplay, but this is what they wanted. This was like the base of it, or at least what they were going for. And it was action, based game, which was really cool. And of course, you had a dragon beside you, fighting alongside you. So the game looked cool and looked interesting, of course. Of course, at this time, I don't think I was going to play this game, or at least get an Xbox, because, again, there was no reason for me to get one. However, looking at this, it did interest me, like, wow, this looks cool. Do I want an Xbox now? Just so I could play this one exclusive game? I mean, you could go into a dragon form, or at least dragon armor, and it looks cool. So the game looked to have some cool potential, and it has some interesting ideas here and there. Of course, you can command your dragon to do specific stuff here and there, and it just looked like a cool, interesting, idea. Of course, this game also said that it was going to have co-op and multiplayer stuff in it. So, of course, your friends can join and you guys can play together.
Hardly seems like a fair fight. Just one of you against all of us. Let's go, big guy.
So it looked cool. However, I'm not confirming anything that it's going to happen. Of course, this is just Kamiya saying that he wants to go back to Scalebound, but the ball is all in Microsoft's court. It's all if Microsoft wants to go back to the project and work on it. And hopefully Microsoft listens and they do actually go back to Scalebound to work on this game. And also a little nitpick I want to talk about, not technically a news, but just an article I just want to jump on really quick. So there's a new game called Sifu, which is a very hard game. That it's an action game, a kung fu type of game that you're able to use the environment around you, and every time you die you get older. So it's a very interesting concept. It looked pretty interesting as well. However, there's an article that kind of disrespects action games, and especially action games and likes of Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, and I'm just gonna what? So there's an article on The Verge. So Sifu's toughest battles is with its own origin. So she points out that this game is difficult and it's challenging. And the article states that do not approach Shifu with the same button mashing mentality as beat 'em ups like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry. Shifu is designed to be smarter than that. Oh, why did you disrespect us like that? Why? So in a nutshell, it is highlighting that action games are dead. Shifu, it designs to revamp the action genre with you using your surroundings and, you know, of course, paying respects to kung fu movies and, you know, stuff like that. And it sparked the whole, you know, talk on Twitter, you know, talking about our action games dead, you know, this and that. And also kind of goes back to the point where people are talking about, you know, Platinum Games, you know, live service, where they're going this route, and people are thinking that, you know, they're going this route because one-off action games or just action games in general are dead, and that's why they're going this route, you know, to continue on for more years, you know, etc. and stuff like that. And it sparked a whole conversation in Twitter. Of course, people with reasonable opinions, and of course, people just being assholes. In my opinion, you know, action games aren't really dead, and the communities in each of the games, you know, there's communities there that still play the games here and there. You know, a good example is, you know, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, you know, developed by Platinum Games, right? You know, people still play it to this day, even though that game came out like nine years or so, if I'm correct. And how me and my friend are currently playing that game together because that game is so cool, and we both like that game. You know, from the combat, from the music, you know, we just like that game a lot.
Get that out there. Oh, nice. Oh, watch it. Oh my God! Woo!
Let's fucking go, baby! Oh, that was hype as fuck, dude. That was hype as fuck.
That was a good way.
Oh,
finish her off.
I'm not even mad about that. That shit was still satisfying, dude. Oh, god damn.
and of course, it also goes back to Devil May Cry and Bayonetta players. You know, people still play those games. Right now, I'm playing Bayonetta here and there. I still play Devil May Cry. Of course, I don't play it every single day, and I'm pretty sure most of us don't play it every single day. But when we do come back to it, we play it, we have fun, and there's a whole community in the action game genre, and of course, in the specific games. And I think it's all about the community who still play those games and cherish those games. And when you think about it, even with the gap of Devil May Cry 4 and, you know, Devil May Cry 5 and even DMC, those gaps here and there when we didn't have any new Devil May Cry game, there were still people playing the game, making, you know, combo mads, you know, cool combo videos, you know, just stuff like that. The community was there. It's always been there. And I don't think just saying, you know, Devil May Cry isn't dead, or Bayonetta, you know, is not dead. You know, action games as a whole is not dead. You know, it's all about the community and people playing the game and loving the game even after so many years that the game is, you know, released. You know, and this game highlighting that, you know, this game is different from button mashing games like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry. You know, it's a little insulting, you know, for us people who loved, and specifically these type of games. They're not just button mashing games. You know, there's a lot more to these games. There's a reason why so many people come back to, you know, older titles, older action games, because there's so much to it that we love. Yeah, I just wanted to highlight that, you know. I just wanted to, you know, highlight that and just talk about it, a little bit, you know. And I think it's worth mentioning this right here. I think this is a good way to summarize the person who wrote this article. If DMC and Bayonetta are reduced to button mashing mentality, then the person who wrote this must have played them on easy mode. I just wanted to highlight this, talk about this, you know, because, you know, I feel like it's an interesting topic to talk about, you know, action games and stuff like that. All right, so really quick news. I really want to talk about that came up regarding Platinum Games. So with the recent plays that Microsoft has been doing, buying companies left and right, Platinum CEO was talking about they're open to being bought as long as they're, you know, promise freedom in, you know, creating their games. They're not restricted to something. They want to be able to have the right to create whatever they want in total freedom, and that's completely understandable. And there's also talks of, you know, Capcom being bought by Sony and stuff like that, and lots of these companies being bought, right? But I think there should be some companies that, you know, are just left alone by themselves, but then again, it could benefit them in many different ways. Personally, I would rather have Platinum being bought by Sony because, you know, I love Sony a lot more than Microsoft. However, if Microsoft does get Platinum, we will get it on the PC most of the time. So, you know, and, you know, PC being superior and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a lot of things that could happen. But then again, this is just talks. There's no confirmation at all. But if it does happen, if Platinum is bought, for sure I will talk about it. So yeah, there's an article here talking about that they are willing, you know, they're open for offers as long as if it's guaranteeing freedom, which is great. There's also talks that, you know, Platinum Games doesn't just want to be known as just an action game company, they do want to expand on that. So yeah, Platinum Games wants to be no more than just action. So they want to go different routes, which explains a lot from the other news that we talked about being live service games and stuff like that. I think in terms of expectations of fans in relation to linear action games like Nier and Bayonetta, we understand that we do get some respect for the action games that we created, and we're always happy to hear that, Kamiya said to VGC. But we don't want to be labeled as the action game company. We want to be labeled as a company that is interested in original, fun gameplay. I hope with that the things that we do in the future that philosophy will become more apparent to our fans. And it's completely understandable if they don't want to be labeled as just an action game company. And overall, I most of us do label them as, you know, the company that does create, you know, good action games in general. But in general, just good gameplay, good combat. Most of the time, when a Platinum game does make a game, the gameplay is always the most fun every time. And I'm pretty sure most of us fans do label them as that, you know, an action game company, or at least a company that knows, you know, how to make good gameplay. So if they don't want to be labeled as, you know, as an action company, it's all up to them to, you know, to do whatever they want to in the future. And seeing that they want to go live service in the future, or at least for some of their games, you know, it does lead to that route. But again, we'll just have to wait and see, right? Anyway, this concludes this video. Just wanted to highlight this, talk about these recent news that interests me. But hopefully it all goes well for Platinum Games. I do want to do more videos like this. Of course, I'm not going to talk about, you know, every gaming news and stuff like that. I'm only going to... I'll cover stuff that interests me and that I find interesting to talk about. Appreciate you for watching. Thank you for the support. And yeah, see you guys next time. Peace.